you can come back from anything. You can rewrite your story. You can reclaim yourself and start over again.
Hi, I'm Anna Anderson, CEO and founder of the Women in Project Management Network. I'm a project manager by profession, a career coach, a PMP trainer, and a LinkedIn learning instructor. But more importantly, I'm someone who's been in your shoes. Not too long ago, I was filled with doubt, stepping out of my comfort zone and navigating rejection after rejection. It wasn't an easy journey, but through perseverance, hard work, and lessons learned, I finally found my yes. That moment changed everything, not just for me, but for the many people I've since had the privilege to help. I've seen how lives transform when you have the right tools, when you have the right support and encouragement to pursue those six-figure project management roles. On the Project Management Connect show, here I share inspiring stories from project managers who've gone through aspiring to hire. I also bring in industry experts, recruiters, and hiring managers to show us how it's done. Together, we'll explore practical strategies and actionable tips to help you on your journey. So whether you're just starting out, transitioning into project management, or looking to elevate your project management career, this podcast is for you. If project management feels like your calling, or if you're just exploring, it's time to dive in. So let's get started, fellow project manager. Your journey begins here. So welcome back. Today we have Lydia with us. Lydia is one of the OGs of the Women in Project Management Network. She's also a very dear friend of mine. I'm super excited for her to share with you her story today because I know it's going to motivate and inspire tons of people out there. But before we continue, Lydia, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. It's been long coming and I am so happy we are here.
Yes, definitely. So, do you want to quickly introduce yourself to everyone who's listening today?
My name is Lydia Makomere. I am a project manager, one of the original folks in your community. And I have been one for about 4 or 5 years now. And outside of just being a project manager, I'm a mom, a wife, a sister, a friend, and I run my own business as a life coach as well.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that also in this show, just so that you can share with everybody about that. But coming back to you being a project manager, do you want to share with us how you started your journey? It's been a couple of years now, but do you want to just share with us how you started your journey?
Well, I like to call it a God moment because I was out of work. I think I was just lying in my bed one evening and aimlessly scrolling through Facebook. I had just been terminated from my previous job because it was a job that I worked at night and I just couldn't stay up, right? And my supervisor told me the next day, you will not be coming back because your peers have complained that you doze off, you're sleeping, you're not supporting them in the work that they do. So I was just in my bed trying to scroll through Facebook. Then I see a mutual friend posted about you and how you help clients or people get into project management. And I jumped on that post, pinged you on Facebook, reached out to you and said, I'm interested. And that's how my journey started with you and with me jumping into the project management world. And, the rest is history. I'm here today as a certified project manager and a Scrum Master as well.
Yeah. I'll never forget that time. It was February.
It was
Cold
February
in Minnesota.
It was a very cold February. Yes.
So
February 2021. It was in the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it was actually still the pandemic because the pandemic happened in 2020 and in 2021 we were still talking about it and all that stuff. So you reached out. I remember that day we had a conversation and you're like, you know what? You told me your story about your previous role. And in your previous role, it's not that you were not doing your work. You had two little boys, you're working full time. So it was just, at that time your
It was
boys
a
were little.
lot. And I just moved from Kenya about 2.5 years. I was still adjusting to this world of doing night shift. Remember, I left a very good corporate job in Kenya. And so for search of greener pastures in the US. And so landing here, it immediately dawned on me that, hey, I'm not going to get that corporate job that I wanted or that I had in Kenya unless I do things differently. And so really, I didn't have a soft landing. I had to get something going, and I had to, get myself a job. Remember, I have young boys. They have to go to school. I'm up all day trying to prep them and do what I need to do for them. Then at night, I have to go to work, right? And so I wasn't just, I would say, I just wasn't getting used to working at night. And so
Yeah.
I was trying my best. And even
Yeah.
when I get there, it's 11 p.m., 12 p.m. I just couldn't stay up.
Yeah.
Awake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you looking at that post motivated you to be like, you know what, I need to change my life around. I want something better for me. I want something better for my boys. But speaking of the good job that you had in Kenya, you had tons of transferable skills that you were able to bring them to now your project manager role. Do you want to share a couple of those transferable skills as you started to market yourself?
Yeah, and just before I share about my transferable skills, one of the motivation was money, honestly.
Mhm,
I was making $18 an hour. It was
mhm,
barely enough.
mhm,
Rent, gas, groceries, everything. It was barely enough. And I had a family in Kenya that I needed to take care of. So it was not enough at all.
mhm,
So that was one of the biggest motivation. And I knew I needed to give my boys a better life.
mhm,
So yes, so I had a very good corporate job in Kenya. I worked for one of
mhm,
the telecommunications company.
mhm,
And so I had a lot of transferable skills. One of them being I'm a good communicator. I believe I do communicate very well. So communication skills was one of the skills that I knew very well. No, I didn't know right off when we started working that that is a skill that can be transferred to the world of project management. But as we worked through, you helped me see that my communication skills are transferable skills,
mhm.
organizational skills. I was an analyst in the job that I used to do. And so I had a lot of organizational skills, analysis skills. And so those are things that I brought in, and I was able to transfer them to my new role as a project manager.
Yeah, and
Just a few of the
yeah,
skills.
yeah. And we know communication is one of those top skills. Like, I mean, we are communicating 80 to 90% of the time as project managers. So that's good that you use that to come here. But we're going to get to your
I like
$18.
to, yeah, sorry, more project management is more about people management. So
Yes.
communications is big.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
no, you're right. Yes, people management, people,
Yeah.
process, product. A lot of people talk
Yeah.
about that. You work with the people, then you use the processes, then from there on you build products.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. But we're going to talk about your $18 at some point. I want to bring that back because I don't want that to be overshadowed with
Yeah.
this initial conversation. But what challenges did you face? So now you reached out, you are like, you know what, I need to find a new opportunity. But what challenges did you face as you were now thinking about transitioning?
One of it, I'll say, is the story I was telling myself, and not
Mhm,
necessarily the story I was telling myself. It's stories I had heard of other people, immigrants that had moved here with no American certification, no American education. The only education I had then, Anna, is a Kenyan degree. That is my highest level of education, a bachelor's degree. And so I had been told you have to come to the US and go back to school. And so I was trying to figure between enrolling in school for a master's program or what do I do? So that is one of the challenges because I kept hearing you cannot land a big good job in corporate America if you do not have an American education. That
mhm,
is one. Two was money. Remember, I was just making $18 an hour, and your program was, we had a subscription, right? You had to
mhm,
pay for it. It's not free. And so I was super stressed. How am I going to pay you to help me learn more about this? But as we continue this journey, I'll tell you why that was a block in my mind because
mhm,
at the end of it all, the money it wasn't even an issue,
mhm,
right? And
mhm,
so that is also another challenge. And the other challenge that I had was time, dedicating time to doing what I needed to do. Because once you jump onto the program and the network, you have to do the work. You won't just, nothing is handed to you on a silver platter. And so
mhm,
you have to put in the work. You need
mhm,
time, you need
mhm,
dedication, and a mindset shift. So I'll say
mhm,
those three were the main challenges I faced
mhm.
right off the bed when I was starting out.
Yeah, yeah. So finally, you decided, okay, I want to get into the program. I want to start. And you said yourself, Yes, I'll give you the tools, I'll give you the motivation, I'll push you, I'll keep you accountable, but you also have to put in the work on your side. How did you feel when you started the program?
I was very doubtful, to be
Mhm,
honest, but I was determined. Somewhere, somehow, I was convinced that you were going to give me the roadmap that I needed to land myself my dream job. And so when I started the program, I was confused at first. It was a lot of things at once, overwhelmed. Remember, I had never been a project manager. I did not know what project managers do. So I had to teach and learn it all from the start. I had to teach
mhm,
myself, right?
mhm,
And there are things I learned from you, but most of the work that you asked us to do was actually learn on our own and eventually learn on the job once you
mhm,
get the job,
mhm,
right? And
mhm,
so I was scared to start with, but as days went by, as things started unfolding, and being in the community, there's something just powerful being with other women who are also doing the same thing and getting that motivation. I started believing in myself and believing that actually I can make this happen. And it also helped that I'd come off from a coaching program that had
mm,
really worked on my mindset. And so I could envision the money that
mm,
I was going to make in this
mm,
job. And
mm.
that was a motivation for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, you started in February, but then you got your role in April.
In April. Yep.
Yes, I remember
I'll
very well
never
when you
forget.
came.
I think 60 days, February 21st,
Yeah.
April 19th, I was in a new role as a project manager. Yes.
Yes. Do you want to tell us that journey? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it very well and I can talk about it. Yes. So February 21st, I signed up for your program. I remember telling you, Anna, I don't have the money you're asking for. And by then it was minimum to what your program costs right now. And I
Mhm,
think rightfully so, because the return on investment is big. I remember telling you I don't have all the money, and you were very kind and told me, "Oh, how much can you put down and what can you afford?" And I have a payment plan. I was like, yeah. And I started on that payment plan. So February 21st, I start on the payment plan. We do an introduction call and we start right off with information. And first things you taught me is what is a project managers? What do project managers do? You helped me understand where do I get the resources and things that I need to do to continue the education. So the very first thing you sent me to is LinkedIn. I remember
mhm,
you asked me to do free LinkedIn
mhm,
lessons and courses on project management, but I took it a notch higher and decided to do a project management certification program by Google then.
mhm,
So
mhm.
as I was doing that, I was also doing LinkedIn and a lot of YouTube. My friend, I would sleep at midnight,
Yeah,
1
I
a.m.,
remember.
just going through the materials, going through YouTube videos. I was so determined. Every day for about 45 days, I would sleep almost at midnight.
Yeah.
And then we worked on my resume, I think 30 to 40 days in the
Mhm,
program,
mhm,
and my LinkedIn. You helped me optimize my LinkedIn, and we started applying for jobs. I
mhm,
wasn't ready, but you told me, I think we're ready. Let's start applying for jobs.
mhm.
So we started applying for jobs, right? And the very first job that I applied to, I was called for an interview. That is when the imposter syndrome kicked. It was so big. I knew and I was convinced that I cannot be a project manager. Even after going through all the teachings, inspirations from the group, the lessons and the courses, I wasn't just still feeling like I'm ready to be a project manager. But anyway, you encouraged me and told me, you know what, just give it a try. Oh, before I did the interview, I had already done my Scrum Master certification because I
Yeah.
had gotten to the level of doing my PMP then. The easiest
Mhm,
certification to do was a Scrum Master. But
yeah.
remember, I had to have a background in project management before I could take my Scrum Master certifications. So I
Mhm,
did my Scrum Master certification, then I'm ready. Here we go for an interview. I do my first interview. It was very intimidating. I was in a room of executives. I don't recall how that interview went, but I remember calling you after the interview
Yeah.
and saying, I sounded so dumb. That is what I said. I just told you, I don't think I answered all the right things. All these people were on the call looking at me and grilling me and, making me answer very tough questions. I don't think I did anything good in the
Mhm,
interview. You called me and told me, you know what, we can only wait. And 24 hours later, the
mhm.
recruiter reached out and said, hey, they actually want a second interview with you. I was shocked. And so anyway, we go to the second interview, and this time round, I meet the CTO. and the leader of the PMO, and we had a very good conversation. It's like I had just been in project management for 10, 15 years. It was so natural, that second interview. And so after that, I think 24 hours later, again, they give me an offer with my first $55 an hour.
From $18 an
From
hour.
$18 an hour. I remember I was actually seated in the basement of our home then, and I just started crying because I started calculating how much $55 would make a difference in my life. I took a calculator and said 55 take away 18. You mean I'm making almost $30? Actually, more than 30. It was more than $30 more from my previous job, and I could not believe it. And in fact, to date, I think I lowballed myself because it was my first job. So I didn't know when the recruiter extended that. I don't think I pushed back. I just took it on.
Yeah. That's
So
a
that
great
was my
story.
experience with my very first job, the first time I interviewed and how I did my first job.
Yeah. But it's good that you mentioned, hey, you were called for a second interview, and you felt like during that interview and you're speaking with the CTO and the head leader of PMO, you are having a conversation. And that's the most important thing. Having a conversation, sharing your experiences during the interview, because a lot of people go in, they are nervous, rightfully so. But you having that conversation is what's going to make you stand out from someone else who's just having robotic type answers. So you got your $55 offer. You were super excited. I'll never forget that phone call when you called me and told me, all right, I finally got my offer. And then you started your role. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, just before that, I want to piggyback on the conversation bit.
Yes.
Like most people, I would approach interviews like, you're in a court session and you're being asked questions by the judge. And so there's a police officer on the side, that tense environment. That's how I would approach interviews until I actually joined your community. Walk us through a journey of answering interview questions in a very relaxed post. And so there's a format that we use that gives you kind of just that piece, even when you're answering questions and you're in a relaxed mode as you answer it, making the interview more of a conversation than a grilling or, a court kind of environment. So it's very helpful that people who interview for this role, now that I'm a hiring manager myself, I see a lot of people come in very tensed and we have a very awkward interview. So it's very important that you just settle in and make this a conversation.
Yes. Create your story so that when you are talking to the other person on the other side, it's just a conversation. Like you just met for coffee, I haven't seen you in a long time, and you're telling me, hey, tell me about the project you're working on. And you're just going on and on. But there's a method, as Lydia said, I like using the STAR methodology. I'm sure there's tons out there. So feel free to, do your research to feel what works for you. But STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. And some people even add learning at the end. So STAR L. And that's what I share with the ladies in the community to create that. How did your new role change your life?
Let me see. A total change. Remember, I was making $18 an hour. I was living in an apartment that I could barely manage or keep up with the rental payments every month. I remember, it was so hard sometimes that I had to go to the rental office to just tell them that they maybe just give me a few more days that I'll be able to cover the rest of the payment, because it was just a lot, right? And I have a family home that I needed to take care of. So in a nutshell, the $55 changed my life forever. I was able to move out of the apartment, get a new home for the kids and I. I was able to build my mom a home, a very palatial home, get my brothers through school, and just kind of gave me the financial freedom that I wanted to be able to make financial decisions without being scared of what really, where our next meal is going to come from, where's the next rent going to come from. So that was a big, 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 big shift for me.
Yeah. So that did not end there, though. You continuously got, additional opportunities where you even made more money than the $55. Now you knew how to negotiate whatever it is.
Exactly. Yes.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I stayed in that role for a year, and I remember the PMO leader asked me to convert and be on full time. But by then I was already educated. You had already told me there's much more out there for me, and so I can negotiate more. I tried to negotiate; they could not be able to get to my negotiation limit or whatever I wanted out of the job in terms of remuneration or salary. And so I had to call it quits. I told them this is where our journey ends because I was already empowered with the skills and knowledge. I knew that my next role would be much better. So I left it after 1 year and interviewed for other roles. And I knew my negotiation power. I understood how to negotiate, how to put an offer, and how to counter offer that when the recruiter gives me an offer and what to say and what not to say. But then remember, I am interviewing very well. I know what it is that I want. I know what it is that the value that I'm bringing to these projects or to the team. And so I totally understand my worth. And so I already know the industry standards as well for the role that I'm interviewing for. And I've done all my research about the company, about the culture and everything. And so by the time I am negotiating, I do understand what my worth is and how much they will be able to pay me as well. So I interviewed for more roles after that. I have been on couple of jobs after that, and the money has been much, much more than the initial money that I started with.
Yeah. And so because you know how to, first of all, you know how to interview, you know how to share your story,
Yeah.
and now you can negotiate and tell them this is my worth and this is what I'm bringing to the table. So pay me my worth
And
right
something
now.
else, Anna, because it's not always about the money,
No,
honestly.
you're right.
There's just there's some freedom, time freedom that this role has given me because I get to work from home. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful that I get to work from home. And what that does is I'm there for my family. I'm here when my children are going to school. I'm here when they come back from school. We now have a young baby, and so I'm always home with them. And so just having that time freedom and the commute time that I would commute to and for the office, the time that I would need to be in meetings and all that, so I can just jump on a Zoom call and get things done. And I feel like working at home has also helped me kind of connect with different people across different nations, and so the diverse experience of working with, I work with people in India, I work with people in Europe at times, I've worked with people in Africa, I've worked with people in Asia. So just having that experience is so important, even more than the money that we make as project managers. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. Because you get to meet tons of people, collaborate, work with them, and they give, you get to learn as well as you go. I want to come back to certifications because I know you said you got your Scrum Master certification at the start, but you've since also earned your project management professional certification. A lot of people think and say, I want to wait before I to get my certification before I can become a project manager. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I practiced as a project manager for almost 2, 3 years before I got my PMP this year, to be honest, right?
Remember in
So
class?
I was ready when I'd gone on maternity leave. That is when I felt I have the time, I have the mental capacity to read for PMP. The PMP is a very, it's a very hard, let me just call it as it is. It's a very hard and very challenging. Let me not say hard, but challenging exam. It needs your mind, your spirit, and your body to be in alignment before you sit for that exam. So I practiced as a project manager, a senior project manager for that without my PMP. Remember, I had my transferable skills.
Yes.
I already learned what project managers do. I have managed multiple projects by this time. I am a certified Scrum Master. I do understand how to lead people, right? I'm a people manager as well. Process, I understand the process. I understand the business environment that we are working in and the IT environment that we work in. So you don't really need a certificate for you to be able to learn and practice as a project manager. It is helpful down the line for your career, but it is not a must for you before you start applying or even interviewing for project management. And most jobs, some will ask for PMP. Now, you could have a certificate, but you just don't understand how to run projects. So it doesn't make sense. So your certificate is good as just a paper in your closet. So the best thing I'll tell people is learn how to fast before you learn you before you go get your certificate first.
Yeah.
The business environment, the project, the process, and how projects are managed before you rush to get your certificate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true because a lot of people are like, I want to wait first, and then they're wasting time. So you
Yeah.
have to be ready to do the exam.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for any aspiring project managers or people who are just thinking like, because I've seen people come from different phases, nurses, teachers, admin assistants, executive assistants, people coming in from other parts of the world. What advice would you have them? Anyone who's trying to get into project management?
First of all, everybody can be a project manager. You are a project manager. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you manage your house, right? That is there's a project that you're managing. Everybody in whatever career path you find yourself in, you can be a project manager. The one thing that I would want you to ask yourself is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a project manager? Is it the money? Is it the time? Is it the freedom? Are you excited about managing projects? Are you excited about people? What is it? What is your why? Starting from there. And once you figure out what your why is, then go for it. Those mindset blocks that we have around project management are the things that kind of block us from actually getting the role itself. It is not hard to learn how to be a project manager. Programs like yours are comprehensive, where you bring in novice people who have zero skills. They've never been project managers like myself. They don't even know what projects are. I had to learn what a project is from scratch. So find yourself a program, find yourself a career coach. It doesn't have to be Anna, it doesn't have to be somebody, but you have to find somebody who has been in the shoes before, who understands the world of project managers, to guide you into what a project manager would be, and then just go for it. So if that is where your heart is and you really think you can transition to being a project manager, go for it. I mean, I have a friend that just transitioned from nursing to project management. So sometimes you ask yourself, do I really have transferable skills? If a nurse can transition to project managers, then yes, my friend, you do.
Yeah, that's great advice. Find your why. Why do you want to do this? Because that will be the root of you pursuing your next steps into that. I'm super excited for your journey, Lydia, because you started out with $18 and then you became a project manager. And now you've had a couple of roles, and now you're hiring manager. You're a senior person within your organization. Just that trajectory is so motivating and inspiring to tons of people. Do you just want to quickly share a little bit about that trajectory and stuff?
Yeah, so you have to start from somewhere, right? So I started out as I think I was just an entry level. I wouldn't say entry level, but medium project manager. And so because I already had transferable skills, so sometimes it's all about how you present yourself. What confidence do you have? If you've been working as a nurse for 10, 20 years, you cannot just come in and start into wanting to be an entry project manager, right? You have valuable information, you have valuable transferable skills. So it really depends how you package yourself. And that is where you come in a lot, helping us package ourselves for interviews and our resumes and all that. And so I got in, I'd already been in corporate Kenya for about 12 years, and I knew the value that I had. And so I landed that project management role. And then, as I mentioned here, I educated myself more certifications outside of just the certified Scrum Master. I went on to do my advanced certified Scrum Master certification in between. And then I did my Scrum Master certified professional, the highest level of certification as a Scrum Master. And we'll probably come for another topic on Scrum Mastery, which is
We should talk about that in
project
another
management.
episode. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so people may be wondering, what is a Scrum Master? And so I had done my Google project management certification. I'd done a little bit of teaching myself on LinkedIn and all that. So I had upskilled, right? And so I applied for jobs that I felt were senior than the one that I had, and I landed those jobs. And then I started finding myself in rooms of people that are making decisions, and I keep on moving up, and the sky is just but a lower limit. And so what I'm trying to say is you have to start from somewhere, but then once you're there, don't get so comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't close your books and say, I'm done. I'm done now reading. I'm done interviewing. And here's the thing, the US is a very competitive market. And so the people who compete in this market are the ones who upskill, who learn something new every day, who, do something for themselves before going into these roles. You just can't sit down. And no, you don't have to go to school and pay thousands and thousands of dollars. You can just get a simple certificate, right?
Yeah.
The PMP is a very challenging but very effective certification in the world of project manager. I think it's just about $500 to $600 there, compared to if you were to go for a master's in project management, that will probably cost you more than 5,000 USD. And so don't get comfortable. If you want to rise up, keep learning, keep filling yourself with knowledge around what's happening, the new trends. AI is here right now.
Yes, the
So
AI is here.
learn a lot. Don't just be stuck in your old waterfall way of doing project management. Jump on the ship that is moving. And once you're there, find opportunities that are moving with that ship. So that's the advice I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for you in your career?
What's next? I want to make decisions around projects in organizations. So I'm heading for the PMO at some point, and that's where I want to be at professionally with my career as a project manager and Scrum Master. So I want to change how processes are done within organizations. So I just want to head the PMO at some point. So that's where my eye is right now. Outside of that, I have a passion of mine that was born out of my own journey. I own a company called Break the Cycles Global. So I want to see that grow and continue to impact women, because I believe we have to change our mindsets before we can land these big jobs like project managers, leader of the PMO, IT directors, nursing, doctors, and all that. It's all in the mind. So what I do with my program is I empower women, break cycles, so that they can, reclaim their lives and rewrite their stories and attract the life they want.
Yeah, yes. And I've listened to you share about Break the Cycle and how, your story is inspiring tons of women who've been in similar situations break that cycle. So definitely I'm going to put it in the show notes, guys. If you want to connect with Lydia or just want to find out about Break the Cycle program that she is going to be, or rather she has, and she's probably going to share more details on her website.
And one of the cycles that I would like your listeners to listen to or, kind of lean into is breaking the cycle of money. Money is a big deal. And so most of us have found ourselves in cycles of making less money and complaining money is never enough. That mindset shift of living in abundance is where we're missing out. And I feel like the women who come to your community, those who come in with, I am here to make more money, I'm here to make an impact, I'm here, I will land my job. Their journeys are really, they tend to be a little bit shorter than the ones who come in with a blocked mindset. So you really have to have an open mindset, an abundance mindset before this whole thing, starts to work in your favor.
Yeah. I feel like that's another episode that we should have about.
We should actually come back. Mindset is big. Mindset is big. I know you struggle a lot with clients with just changing their mindset, because it's all in the mind. If you perceive it in your mind, you can actually achieve it. Yep.
Yes. No, I love that. I truly love that. So as we wrap up here today, Lydia, I know you've shared about Break the Cycles. Do you want to just quickly share how can people find you?
Yep, you can email me at info@breakthecyclesnow.com. I'm also on Facebook as Lydia Kimberly, on LinkedIn as Lydia Mark. Outside of the email, you can find me on Facebook, and or just, reach out to Anna. Anna will give you direct access to myself. I also have a website, www.breakthecyclesnow.com.
Yes. And I'll link all that information on the show notes here. So feel free to check out the links, connect with Lydia. Lydia has been an amazing member of the Women in Project Management Network. She often comes in to even just share her story and motivate other women who are in the journey, to let them know that don't stop, keep going, because your journey is just starting. Any final words before we wrap up here?
Any final words? I believe, and it's a tagline that I used a lot in my coaching, you can come back from anything. You can rewrite your story. You can reclaim yourself and start over again. If you, in this case, if you're stuck in an unfulfilling career, in a role that demands a lot of your time with little returns, you're stressed out, you're burned out, maybe it's time to reach out to Anna. You can absolutely come back from anything. You can absolutely change roles and start over again. It's not too late, you're not too old, and you're not too young to start. Yeah.
Thank you for being with me here today. I am super excited. I'm always excited to just have these conversations with you because it motivates me too. And it keeps me going in this journey to support other women in their quest for next project manager role. So thank you so much. And
thank you for what you do, Anna. You are empowering lives and changing lives, one life at a time.
Yeah.
May God continue to bless the work of your hands. And for all the ladies that come to your network, I hope they find their jobs. Yeah.
I hope so too. Thank you so much, Lydia.
I'll talk soon. Bye.
Thanks.